as always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, we touched on this a little bit earlier in the NFL offseason, but I got to go back to it. Terry McLaurin with the Washington Redskins. It's crazy the numbers that wide receivers are getting in the NFL. He's played 3 years in the NFL, and he just signed a $71 million extension, $28 million signing bonus, the highest signing bonus ever given to a wide receiver in the history of the league. It's amazing to me. Now, he has played with 9 different starting quarterbacks. Okay.
Woof.
That's a factor. But last year, he finished as the 20th receiver in yards for the season. He was 40th in touchdowns, and he got the highest signing bonus ever in the history of the league. That is just fascinating to me.
It is interesting, right? Now, when you compare it to some of the other contracts, the total number,
right,
not necessarily as eye-popping, but do you think Ron Rivera was just like, hey, pay the guy? He's had terrible quarterbacks. It's like Taylor Heineke's not getting it done for him, or I don't know.
There's got to be a factor. I mean, that has to play into it without a doubt. But
maybe he's just always open. Like, I haven't exactly broken down the Terry McLaurin film. Maybe he's open a lot and just doesn't get the ball enough when he is open. Maybe he just dominates in practice. I don't know. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, man, Scary Terry's good, but that's a hefty signing bonus for him.
Smart by him, and maybe you never know how this negotiation went down. Maybe he said, I'll agree to the smaller overall number, with what, 71 million of new money on it. I'll agree to the smaller number, but we're going to get that signing bonus up as high as possible. So I don't know. I was like, do your thing, man. Hey, you've been catching balls for the last 3 years on a non-competitive team. Somehow that's netted you a $28 million signing bonus. That's a win, buddy. You did it. That's congratulations.
It's all just to distract Commanders fans from what's going on with Dan Snyder.
Probably
They're
so.
like, hey, just
need
pay.
Some good news.
Just pay Terry. Just do it. Just pay him, and they'll get people to stop talking about the owner. No, yeah, it's interesting. We'll see if Carson Wentz gets him over the hump as a player. I don't know. I don't know.
Doubt it, but maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
You never know. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
Oh man, I had to go with Freddie Freeman's sports agency.
Oh my
that represented
gosh.
him. This is crazy. So I'm sure everyone saw that it was Freddie Freeman's first return back to Atlanta after leaving in free agency and going with the Dodgers. And apparently it was really emotional for him. And I guess, he talked to some guys around the team after the game or while he was in town, and it looks like he's got some buyer's remorse on going to the Dodgers. And at least this makes it sound like he felt like he was pressured into doing something that he didn't necessarily want to do. Right? I mean, isn't that how you take it?
It sounds like, and the report's already fired his agent. Fired Excel, who's the sports agency that was handling his negotiations with Atlanta. And from what I understood, it's like they basically just messed the whole thing up and actually ended up getting him less money in LA because of some of the deferred money and the taxes out there. Like he could have stayed in Atlanta where he is beloved. It just won a World Series, and they basically messed it all up. From what I understand, is they messed things up with Atlanta. So Atlanta thought he wasn't coming back. They signed somebody, so then there wasn't room for him. So then he ended up in LA. It sounds like an absolute disaster. I believe the word he used to describe his relationship with his agent right now is fluid, which I don't even know what that means.
Here's part of it. Well, he in my opinion, he's going to be just as much at fault. You cannot be a professional athlete and have the California tax situation sneak up on you out of nowhere, right? Like, that conversation has to be had, like, first and foremost. That can't be a shock to the system whenever you get your first paycheck, right? And see that California state tax and millionaire tax and all that crap that they've got out there. And yeah, I don't, that was wild. And how do you feel if you're a Dodgers teammate? Maybe they don't care. Maybe no, everyone understands and it's not that big of a deal. But
did you see what Kershaw said?
No.
He was like, I don't know. It was something like, hopefully we're not second fiddle or something like that.
Well, that's kind of what it makes it look like.
Oh, it definitely does. The guy couldn't even go to the podium for the pregame press conference because he was so emotional. Like I think he was sad and mad and everything. It's a bad deal, man.
It's like if you got married and then whatever went back home and saw your ex-girlfriend and then like disowned the friend that introduced you to your new wife or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how does everyone in that whole situation, that relationship feel? Pretty wild.
Yeah. Here it is right here. Freeman had signed with the Dodgers for 6 years and $162 million. I mean, I don't feel bad for you, Freddie Freeman. I don't, but he said, although the deal contains $57 million in deferred salary, that deal in the end could be worth less than the total value of the Braves offer, given the heavy deferrals in California state taxes.
Brutal.
He's got to be so pissed off. He was by far the most popular player there.
Oh yeah, ever. Well, maybe not ever.
Chipper Jones, maybe.
Go win a championship though, and yeah, pretty. Usually when you win a championship, that is your, the decision is made for you. You're a hero in that community forever, and you sign there, you stay there, and you've kind of, the decision is made for you. Pretty wild.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a lot of great agents out there that are great people, but sometimes they can mess some stuff up, man. It happens. Brutal. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
And if you're a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing, head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year-round. Remember, in 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, and became the first American distillery to win that competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, yes, they're from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right. For my winner of the week, thought about going. Did you see this $500 bet on BetMGM?
I did.
I don't, this mystery person, I don't know who you are, but congratulations. Thought about going with the mystery person that placed a free $500 promotional parlay bet on BetMGM that the Rams would win the Super Bowl, the Warriors would win the NBA title, and the Avalanche would win the Stanley Cup. Well, that's exactly what happened. And with the parlay's odds at 53,800 plus 53,800, this mystery person won a cool $269,000 off a $500 bet.
That's crazy. That
incredible.
The Rams were like, I don't know where the Avalanche were.
Dominant all year, best team in the league.
So, I mean, maybe that wasn't that far off. I mean, it's still crazy that it all happened. That's wow, amazing.
Well, there's a reason the odds were plus 53,800.
Right. No doubt.
Unbelievable. Doubt. But my winner of the week, Russell Westbrook. Oh yeah. I mean, that video he put out, what was he singing? Beyonce? He did. Now, I'll say this. He did lots of great things for Oklahoma City. I love him. But I love that the Los Angeles Lakers are about to have to pay him $47.1 million next year because he has opted in to that in his contract. Knew he was going to opt in. Glad he did. Get your money, Russ. We love you. We appreciate you. But that is a big number. And things didn't exactly go well with the Lakers, with LeBron and Russ last season. Now, I'm sure LeBron absolutely loves the fact that Russ will be making nearly $3 million more than him next season, especially with the Lakers going 33-49 last year. Now, I will say the Lakers, they hired Darvin Ham. We'll see if he can get Russ to play some more efficient basketball. I wouldn't hold my breath on that, but cheering for him. Hope he plays well. But it would help a lot if Anthony Davis and LeBron could stay healthy. But him putting that video out there after all the rumors of, hey, maybe Kyrie Irving's going to get traded to the Lakers and all this stuff, it was hilarious that Westbrook, yeah, of course he opts in and then he puts that video out there. I got a good chuckle out of that.
It's crazy. So they've got to be paying three guys $130+ million a year.
Oh yeah.
And they are all, in my opinion, past their prime, some more so than the others, but
I've got the numbers for you. Here we go. Russell Westbrook, 47.1.
Whew.
LeBron James, 44.5. And Anthony Davis, 38.
Oh, 38. That's wow.
The bargain.
No,
it's a bargain
doubt.
For Anthony Davis.
I thought he was a Supermax guy before he went there also, but that's crazy. So yeah, you're around $130 million a year on those three guys. Doesn't leave a whole lot of room for the rest of your roster with as much as all of the other role players are now making in the NBA. And I think they're going to be terrible again next year. Like LeBron James is still great, but he can't carry a team like he used to. Like they need a bunch of role players. Anthony Davis cannot stay healthy. Russell Westbrook is, he's one of the most explosive athletic guys that we've ever seen in the NBA, but he's father time is undefeated. And as that explosiveness fades, you have to develop your game elsewhere. And I don't know that he ever really has or attempted to.
Not a big believer in Taylor Horton Tucker or Austin Reeves, huh? Look at you doubting Austin Reeves. No, I'm with you. I don't think they're going to be very good.
Yep.
I just don't. I'm going to need to see it before I believe it. Those pieces just didn't quite mesh. But and as far as
do they like it? Do any of them like one another? Is that do we know about that?
I've got no clue. I've got no idea. But NBA free agency, right? It's just kind of boring right now. Now you had the Russ opt in, you had the Kyrie, that whole just circus, and he ends up opting in and dropped some very deep quotes as dare to be different, Kyrie, right? You're a trailblazer opting into your, was it 38 million dollars? Good for you, man. But I mean, the biggest free agent names are Jalen Brunson and him probably going to the Knicks. And then I guess the other big story is what's going to happen with DeAndre Ayton. But I usually love the drama of NBA free agency, and the NBA does drama well, but this cycle of free agency is just kind of boring, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had an unusual explosion of trades and free agent moves and stuff like that over the past, gosh, what, 6 or 8 years. And this really does seem like it's the calmest of the off seasons that we've had recently.
Okay. Before we talk about my loser of the week, you are being attacked by a fly.
You can see it landing on my head. That's the problem.
Our YouTube viewers are going to love this. Do we need to do anything? Do you need a swatter? Because it keeps landing right in the middle of your forehead. And I can tell you're getting to the point where like you're getting angry. And when you get angry, you're kind of scary. Oh, did you get it?
I don't know.
This is probably the best podcasting we've ever done. Right,
I'm armed at this point. I'll get him if he buzzes around again.
Okay, if you're a loud sudden noise, that's Ted trying to murder a fly. All right, for my loser of the week, I thought about going with tennis fans because it is Wimbledon. I enjoy watching Wimbledon. It's on during the day. It's something to watch. It's kind of in the background all the time while it's going on. I was locked into the Serena Williams match, and she lost. I mean, lost in a first round match to Harmony Tan. Now the tiebreak was super dramatic, super fun to watch, but I had that moment of realization. I know she's been off for basically a year when it comes to singles. And I was just like, man, Tan's I even Googled it. I looked it up. She's ranked 115th in the world. And watching Serena, the best to ever do it, struggle and, looks so rusty. It was just, I don't know, it just made me kind of sad. It's weird watching her struggle that way at Wimbledon. You just expect every time she steps on the court, you kind of just expect dominance. And then you realize she's 40 years old.
I know.
Father time. Yeah, speaking of Father time. So that was kind of a bummer for me. I'm not a big tennis guy, but I like watching Wimbledon, and Serena has always been someone where it's kind of appointment TV for me. I was like, I want to watch her because she's the best ever.
I agree. I've always loved watching her play, and I watched a pretty good chunk of that match too. And I think Serena, it looked like she felt the same way as you and I, like a realization of where she is. Like she looked very frustrated that she was in that type of a slugfest with the number 115 ranked player in the world. So I don't know what that means for her moving forward. I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I need to get it together. I'm going to make one more push to try and go get another slam. Or if she says, yeah, it looks like this is the end. I don't know what that means for her, but she looked massively frustrated with herself the entire time that she couldn't do the things that she used to.
Yeah. And even afterwards in her presser, they asked her about potential retirement, and she basically was like, I don't know. We'll see. So I think that kind of gives you a look into where she's at mentally right now.
Yeah.
And it's tough to play at a high level if you're not all the way in mentally. And then the other bad thing about Wimbledon, now you still got on the men's side, you got Djokovic, you got Nadal, but Matteo Berrettini,
How about that name?
I think he was the runner-up last year, if I remember correctly, and had to withdraw COVID. And we're all losers because, Ted, I don't know if you've seen this guy. I feel like I've brought this up before. My goodness, he's a good-looking dude. I mean, he is one handsome man. And I think he's like 6'5", too. Tall, dark, handsome, Italian. Whew.
Well, at least that frees up my 4th of July weekend. I don't have to stare at the TV.
Don't have to stare at Berrettini and be like, good
Yeah.
Lord, look at that guy. That's whenever I watch him play tennis, I'm like, you know what? That's a really good looking dude. All right, for my I also thought about going with Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
That was I always thought Koepka is one of those guys that no matter what would shoot you straight. Dude, no, he must have gone to the Lincoln Riley School of Lying because no one is believing what he said about the LIV thing. He was like, quote, "We never even had the conversation until after the U.S. Open." Come on, dude. First of all, how did you not have the conversation? I assume the LIV Golf Tour came to you right when they were getting things started and asked you about it. What, you've never had a conversation about it? That's impossible to believe.
Well,
I mean, come on, man.
It sounds like it's the creative way. Like Lincoln Riley said, he never talked to USC until Sunday, right? But his agent was negotiating and building the deal for months. Like, your agent is representing you. When your agent is negotiating with somebody on your behalf, you're talking to them. Whether or not you're speaking directly, you're talking to them, right? This is the way to avoid saying that, but we all know what is happening.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's getting paid a fortune. I think he's going to thrive in the LIV model, but I really wish he would have just been like, guys, they offered me a ton of money. What was I supposed to do? Like, right. I thought that's what we were going to get from Koepka, but maybe he's getting some orders there from the LIV Golf PR people. Okay, but my loser of the week, and this is a frustration of mine, and maybe some people don't share this frustration. But my loser of the week is FIFA. Now, we don't talk a lot of soccer on here, but FIFA came out. They've announced they've sold 1.8 million tickets for the World Cup in, I don't know if I'm supposed to call it Qatar or Qatar. Years ago, I was told it's Qatar, but I feel like on ESPN, they keep saying Qatar. So I don't know what to do. I'm going to go with Qatar just because, I mean, it's spelled with a Q and an A. So what are we calling it? What's the country?
I call it Qatar.
Okay. Let's go with that.
I think maybe it's supposed to be Qatar, but I feel like I sound like a moron whenever I say Qatar.
Yeah,
so
Qatar.
I just don't
Cutter. That's not how that's spelled.
I would just rather have people, even though no one ever would correct you on that, unless maybe you were in the country and I don't plan on being there, I go ahead and pronounce it wrong because I feel like I sound like a moron. So
yeah, so we'll go with Qatar. But a FIFA spokesperson came out, said they're going to offer, I think, as many as 3 million match tickets during the tournament. Like, these are big numbers. It's awesome. But the reason FIFA's my loser of the week is we should be watching soccer right now.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I should be watching my son crawl around my house trying to make sure he doesn't hurt himself with the FIFA World Cup on in the background. It's late June of the year of the World Cup. This is when it's supposed to be happening. I can't be locked in November during football season, FIFA. It's absurd that we're not watching soccer and they say, well, Qatar, the weather. Well, then don't put it there. This is ridiculous. I'm watching baseball. I'm watching way more Wimbledon than I normally should. I should be watching World Cup soccer, which is exhilarating. I should be watching it right now. But It doesn't start until November 21st. We've got college football, the NFL, the NBA is going on then. How am I supposed to work soccer into my fall schedule? Ted, this is ridiculous. It should be happening now. We're getting robbed. America is being robbed right now.
Yeah. Well, I won't be working it into my schedule.
Oh, you'll watch the USA games. We all will. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not if they're on Saturday. I won't.
That's true.
You know? Yeah. This whole thing has been a disaster from the beginning, right? And maybe I'm about to flood our podcast with a bunch of misinformation, but didn't a bunch of people get in serious trouble over bribes and stuff over it even going to Qatar in the beginning?
That's kind of FIFA's whole thing, though. Big bribe culture there in the soccer leadership.
Didn't Qatar use a bunch of essentially slave labor to build all of the new stadiums and everything?
There were quite a few reports of deaths. Yes,
right.
I read a little bit about that. So far, don't think you're throwing out any false information. So good for you.
And we're moving it out of prime viewing portion of the year whenever. I mean, I don't know. We're obviously a small portion of the world that's actually watching what's going on. I get that, but you know, it's prime viewing. You're changing what it has always been in the time frame where it's always been because you put it in this desert. It's just been a total disaster. But I loved the announcement recently of all of the cities in the U.S. that are going to be hosting. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty sweet that Kansas City is going to be getting one when the World Cup's and when North America's hosting. We're going to have to go to one of those. Dallas, Kansas City. We're going to have to find our way to one of those. Got to check that off the old bucket list.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.